It was sharp, almost proud, the sound she used when she wanted people to notice her. She was standing with a small cluster of my co-workers, waving her hand as she reenacted some story. They were all looking at her, not me, even though the night was supposed to be about me. I knew instantly she was telling that story, the one she loved repeating whenever she wanted to make me look like a harmless old fool. The John still thinks his shirts iron themselves story, or maybe the John can't even work the TV remote one. It didn't matter which. They all had the same punchline. I was slow, confused, outdated, just like she'd been treating me for years. But what hurt wasn't the story. It was the way her hand rested on the shoulder of Mark Dawson, the man she'd been mentoring at the fitness studio. Her fingers stayed there a little too long. He didn't move away, and she didn't look guilty. Not anymore. Everyone had drinks. Lights were dim. Speeches were about to begin. It should have been one of the proudest moments of my life. 40 years of service, dozens of employees mentored, a career I built from nothing. But as I walked deeper into the room, all I felt was a painful, hollow certainty. Something had been broken long before tonight. It started a year earlier. I'd come home from work excited, maybe foolishly so, because I'd gotten my retirement date approved. I'd imagined she'd be happy. We used to talk about traveling, about quiet mornings, about rebuilding our marriage after years of career stress. But when I told her, she only blinked and said, "That soon?" I didn't understand the disappointment in her voice until months later. The signs were small at first. Extra gym sessions, late nights planning classes, a sudden obsession with her phone, and that scent, musky cologne, that wasn't mine, drifting from our sheets. When I asked, she'd laugh and call me paranoid, tell me I was imagining things. "You're near retirement," she'd say. "Your mind is always overthinking lately." And I believed her. God help me. I did. I told myself I was being insecure, that age was making me overly sensitive. I started apologizing more. I tried planning date nights, tried bringing home small gifts, tried being more patient, more present. The more I tried, the colder she became. One night, I walked into the kitchen and heard her whispering on the phone. The tone, soft, warm, younger, was a voice she hadn't used with me in years. When she noticed me, she switched instantly, as if flipping off a light. "It's just work," she said. I pretended to believe her. Pretending became a habit. It always does for husbands like me. Back at the party, I realized she'd been preparing for this night, maybe longer than I'd realized. She'd positioned the chairs so all eyes would be on her during the slideshow. She'd insisted on managing the surprise presentation. She knew my boss would give her a moment to speak, and she planned to use it, not to honor me, but to humiliate me, to show everyone she was vibrant and young and adored, while I was a tired old man stepping aside to make room for the next generation, including men like Mark. But she didn't know one thing. I had finally stopped pretending. 2 weeks earlier, I'd found the messages. I wasn't even snooping. Her phone lit up next to me while she showered. The preview alone was enough. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Wear the black leggings." My chest tightened, but not with shock. I think a part of me had known for months. And so, instead of confronting her right away, I copied the entire thread to my email. Every photo, every late-night plan, every insult about me being boring or checked out or too old to keep up. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't touch her phone again. I just waited. If she wanted a performance, I'd let her have one. But I'd make sure the final moment belonged to me. My boss tapped the microphone, asking everyone to take their seats. The room quieted. My wife moved toward the stage, smoothing her dress, glancing at me with that smug, sparkling confidence she wore whenever she thought she was in control. She started her speech with the usual jokes, my snoring, my habit of leaving coffee rings on the counter, my inability to fold laundry properly. Everyone laughed politely. Then she went for the real cut. "John's been slow to adapt to change," she said with a dramatic sigh. "I mean, even at home, keeping up with him feels like trying to drag an old computer into the 21st century." Some people laughed. Others shifted uncomfortably. She smiled at the crowd, basking in the attention. I just stood there, still, hands folded. Then my boss gestured for me to come up for my part of the speech. My wife stepped aside, smug and glowing, certain she had shaped the night. But I brought something she didn't expect. When I reached the podium, I didn't clear my throat or make a joke. I simply opened the small envelope I brought with me and set my phone beside it. I prepared a speech. I began quietly. But I realized recently that honesty would mean more than anything scripted. The room grew still. My wife's smile froze. "I want to thank each of you," I continued, "for the years you trusted me, supported me, and worked beside me. I'm proud of my time here, and I'm proud of the man I've been." I saw her shift, just slightly. "But when you retire," I said, "you start looking closely at who stand beside you at the finish line. Who's truly with you? Who's not?" I tapped my phone once. The projector, controlled by the AV team, switched to the images I had queued. Texts, photos, her words, Mark's replies, plans they'd made on nights I'd been home cooking dinner for her. Gasps spread across the room like a wave. My wife lunged toward the stage, whispering harshly, "Turn it off, John. Turn it off." But she couldn't touch the screen. She couldn't stop the truth. I kept my eyes on the audience, not on her. "I'm not sharing this to embarrass anyone," I said steadily. "But I won't end 40 years of work pretending to be a man I'm not. I won't let my story be rewritten by someone who stopped caring about me long before today." Silence. Heavy. Real. I closed the envelope. Inside was the divorce paperwork I'd already signed. When I looked at her, really looked at her, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Relief. "This moment," I said softly, "belongs to me." Then I left the stage to the sound of applause, quiet at first, then growing, not out of cruelty but out of respect. My wife didn't follow me. Mark didn't either. I walked out into the cool evening air alone but weightless, as if I'd finally set down a burden I'd been carrying for years. Retirement wasn't the ending I expected. It was something better, a beginning I finally chose for myself.